Got a big old brass flat button out of this. Whoopee! There were a lot of signals in that hole right there. But look what I found. Harmonica reed. This is absolutely amazing that I have found so many of these this year. You know you're digging with 7 when you dig a flat button and a harmonica reed. And that one there is still in the cloud. Another button. Another little cuff button. This one here rang up good. Another flat button there, Mike. You see it? It's still in the cloud right there. That's an eagle button. Sure is. I got dadgum mules. Well, it's time to get down to business, I guess. I'm in a flat button challenge with Mike with the Coil Boys, and I will leave a link down below for you to go and make a comment on my channel and on his channel as to who you think that will win, and we're going to offer some prizes at the end of the year. But anyway, it's time for me to get busy and start trying to find some flat buttons, and I begin to do that in this video here today. And over the next probably 4 weeks, I'm going to have several videos that concentrate mainly on me hitting those colonial sites and trying to find as many flat buttons as I can. So be warned, you're going to see some flat buttons today. Got my little 6-inch coil on the CTX today, and it's getting some depth because I've got 9 inches right there, and I've got a I dropped it in the hole. I've got a fired round ball. That's a pretty good size round ball. I'd say that is 44 if I'm just guessing. It's been fired, you can tell. It's flattened out. I got this signal and started to dig, and then I seen it laying on top of the ground. It's a little brass rivet. Don't know what that would have went to. Belt or something probably. I'll take it. That hole's probably about 6 inches deep. And that one there is still in the clod. You see it there? Let's see if we can get an imprint. Oh yeah. I love seeing those imprints. It is a flat button. Shank's going to be broke. Don't know if it's got a back mark or not, but that's what I'm after. Looks like maybe that's a shank side, I don't know. Looks like a little dome button, I don't know. It's a good find though. I want to do a shout out today to a guy that I met through Plugmaster Ford. I did a shout out to Plugmaster Ford sometime last year, and finally had the pleasure of meeting him and his buddy Missouri Mike in Culpeper, Virginia. And I want to do a shout out to Missouri Mike. This is a good guy. I know that you're going to like his channel, so check him out, Missouri Mike. Like, subscribe, and share, and please tell him that 7 sent you. Fairly shallow hole right there, and I've got a cuff button. Still got the shank on it. Just going to be plain on the front, I think. May have a back mark. Another button. I got dadgum mules. Huh. Out of that hole right there, which is about 6 inches deep probably. I've got a suspender clip. I can't tell what's on it. Kind of looks like a horse. You can see it's folded over here in the back. I don't know if I will ever get that one straightened out. I wish that hadn't been bent. That'd have been a pretty suspender clip. Probably break it trying to straighten it back out. I may try. It's a good find though, and I'll count it. The hole there's about 6 inches deep, and I've got another one in the clod. I can tell that it is a cuff, but I don't know if it's got a shank. See that imprint right there? And yes, it does have a shank. Sure does. Another little cuff button. This one here rang up good. I had one viewer comment recently that he would like to see a history clip on the different kinds of flat buttons. We will say this one's a brass, this one's a cuff, this one's a tombac. He wanted to know the difference, so let's do that today. First category of buttons that we find here are pewter buttons. They are made up of anywhere from 85 to 99% tin, and then the remainder of the alloy is copper. These date back to the early 1700s, can go on back to the 1600s, but I don't think that ours do. But because of the high volume of tin and the low volume of copper, these buttons deteriorate real quick, as you can see. The next category of buttons is what we call tombac, and that's because of the material that it's made of. And it is an alloy that contains copper and zinc, but what gives it that shiny appearance when it comes out of the ground is the little bit of arsenic that is mixed in the alloy. But it makes these buttons real brittle, and so a lot of these that we find have been broken where a plow or something would hit them. You can determine a tombac a lot of times by looking at the back of it, and you see the little nipple that is under the shank. These were cast, and then they were put on a lay, and then they were spun down. Sometimes they're called spun back buttons, and that's the reason. The next category of buttons, and the most common that we find, are just the regular brass flat buttons. Dates will vary on these, but generally speaking, a flat button with no back mark is somewhere around 1785 to 1800. A brass flat button with a back mark is generally from 1800 to 1840. If it has indented letters or back mark, it's more likely toward the 1800s. If it has the raised back mark letters, it's closer to the 1840s. And a flat button doesn't have to be flat. You see one there that is concave on the back, and they'll have various shapes, and they go all the way from the cuff there on the left all the way up to the dandy button, and it's simply just called a dandy button because of its larger size. So that's a little bit of information about flat buttons. Here's what's left of a colonial dinner knife. The handle would have been here on this left side, and the blade run out. You can see the little riser right there that the handle went up against. Boy, that one's in bad shape. Nasty sounding signal out of that hole right there. And I'm pretty sure it's a button. I haven't wiped it off yet. Yeah. Huh, it kind of looks like tombac. And wipe off clean though. I'll get it cleaned up. The shanks broke off of it. Another good find. Another flat button there.
Mike?
Hey guys, fixing to go out and detect, but I got a package here from a longtime subscriber and supporter, Dave Miller, out of Tennessee. And so I'm going to open this up and see what we got here. Oh, it's a cool train button. I have found those buttons before. But then there's another little package right here. I suspect it's probably another button of some kind. It's not. It's the littlest harmonica that I have ever seen. Don't you look at that right there. Hey, thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
That hole's not all that deep, and this is a real good signal. And I would rather find a button like this right here. You see it? It's still in the clod right there. Oh, bazinga! It's a head stamp. Oh well, it's one I missed. So it goes. Now this in here was a good signal out of that hole. And this is not a head stamp. You can see a little bit of the imprint left there. This is a two-piece. That's an eagle button. Sure is. That's an eagle button. Shank is broke off, but I think the shank is broke off. I'm going to be able to get a back mark off that. That's a great find right there. I like it. And that one there is still in the cloth. Another button. Another little cuff button. This one here running up good. Another flat button there, Mike. You see it? It's still in the cloth right there. That's an eagle button.